panel beater brings back painful memories for you? Well, one Durban family is working hard to crush that perception. eNCA drives Dasen Thathiah takes us inside Ultimate Cars to see exactly how that's being done.
This could easily pass for a motor museum.
It's Ultimate Cars, so it's a broad name. It's a name that we created to create a brand. It's not designated to a panel shop or assigned to a panel shop. It's everything to do with cars. Restorations, accident damaged vehicles, repairing those, customizing vehicles, so anything related to that industry.
It's a family-run business, and the attention to detail is crystal clear. Keeping the wheels turning here is not merely a job for the founder and owner of Ultimate Cars.
Growing up as a young boy, I spent a lot of time in my relatives' garage, growing up with cars. And obviously, school holidays, working in the car, in the garage, assisting with body work and all of that. So I grew up in a car family, so made me a petrol head. And when I finished school, I got an apprenticeship with a company, panel beating. So I qualified as a spray painter, and I worked for them for 22 years. Until I left and I started this business, Ultimate Cars.
Many a classic have passed through the Narayanaswamy's hands. This, however, is what they pride themselves on.
We had a few old pickup vans that we wanted to build, and one day I said, I'm going to do one. And I started my first project about 20 years ago, and I built that and I sold it off and never stopped. The bug had bit me and I carried on with it. So, it's like I take a drive up to the, all parts of the country, my wife and myself, put a trailer at the back, and we go looking for cars. We buy them, bring them, restore them, and that's, where we are now.
Just talk to me about some of the work that goes into producing one of these masterpieces.
Yeah. Okay, there's different types of restorations. We do a full, we call it a chassis up restoration, where we physically build new chassis. We change suspensions on them. We put in the newer fuel injection engines, obviously four-wheel discs, BMW suspensions. So, it's an old look, but ride like a new car. Those are time consuming. They take a lot of time to build. Obviously, you can't build one like it in a month.
How long are we talking about?
You're looking at about 2-3 months, worst case scenario.
Ultimate Cars keeps a good stash of imported parts in-house for any restorations.
Right, so this is our storage facility where we store all our damaged parts on one side, new parts on the other side.
And despite the negative impact of the lockdown, Narayanaswamy and his team always make a plan.
There's a lot of stuff that we buy, second-hand stuff, and you can't get them. We keep them in stock.
We get from a local guy, he imports them. They're not available all the time, and with COVID and stuff, we've been battling a bit. But we get around. We engineer a lot of stuff. We make a lot of stuff, so that's it. It's like the trucks you can buy with any restaurant, the older vehicles, you can buy bezels, you can buy tail lights, you can buy grills, gutter moldings and all of that, windscreen moldings. The rest of the vehicle, you can buy parts, but they're very expensive. So we basically remanufacture, pieces, cut them out, take the rusty spots out, put new panels in, all handmade here in our shop.
If you watched The Fast and the Furious, you'll instantly recognize this car and its roar. It was fully restored in this shop for a customer a few years ago.
There must also be a lot of frustrations and challenges that come with keeping up such a high standard of work. How do you manage with that?
Okay, you got to be constant. Unfortunately, you have to police the guys. Only you as the owner, you're striving for that quality. You're striving for that paint job. You want the cars to be excellent. You actually want it to be better than factory. So we're constantly, looking at the workmanship, guiding the guys. We have qualified people. Sometimes it may be okay, but for us, it's not okay.
It's also about the products and the equipment.
Were you confident that there would be a market for this level of restorations here in Durban, for example, or were you gambling a little bit?
Well, you cannot just survive on restorations because it's not an everyday. You wouldn't be able to pay your bills by just doing restorations. So it is one side of the business. We have a special team for that. And the other side of the business is the panel beating side, where we have contracts with most of the insurance companies.
That's your bread and butter.
That's our bread and butter. We live off that. And we also have the Cobras. We do the bodies for a company, Backdraft.
The Ultimate Cars workshop has a distinctly international feel. And there's a reason for that.
Look, I watch a lot of TV. And on Discovery and DSTV, you would see a lot of these overseas international car builders, such as Gas Monkey, Overhauling, and they show you that building a vehicle doesn't need to be done by the book. It needs to be fun, and you need to create a different type of concept. And I noticed that South Africa doesn't have that. So I try to give Ultimate Cars a bit of that concept.
The younger Narayan-Samy has a soft spot for the Japanese designs.
The most popular vehicle at the moment in Durban, or KZN, I would say, is the E30 box shape. We've restored many of those, but in my personal opinion, I feel it's a bit boring now. Everyone's building that, but I've taken more to the Japanese vehicles. And if you look at the Japanese culture, JDM culture, you would see that they're very extravagant with their builds.
The father and son combination results in a mix of design concepts.
So I come in with the new modern touches, and he's got the vintage touches, and we put it together and we come up with a contemporary design when it comes to a vehicle. So we put our ideas together.
A little bit of old school and new school rolled into one.
Yeah. Look, I'll be honest. We did knock heads a few times on color choices, rim choices, but we eventually compromised. We put a hint of new and old together, and when the end result was amazing.
If you're thinking about getting your hands on a custom classic, it seems there's no time like the present.
It's difficult, like I said, to get vintage cars now. It's there's not many left around. The ones that are left now, they're really not repairable. So it's getting difficult. We just have to wait it out, see what happens, and carry on. We wanted to do some trucks in fiberglass, but it's not the real thing.
And ladies aren't worried about breaking a nail. If anything, they're getting down and dirty, showing off their driving skills.